This is the process that we started with. When we first had the production going, we had hundreds of casting tapes for the host position. We originally thought maybe this was a two-person job. We thought, oh, a man and a woman, or maybe, one person would be in one location and the other one would leapfrog ahead. How could we get them to every location for every single episode? So originally we were looking for two people. And I remember sitting in a little room with the VCR tapes and just kind of going through all these casting tapes, and I just thought, God, nothing was really popping. There were like people that did the newscasters, or special events. And then Terry Castagnola, who was the executive in charge of our production, he said, I've worked with somebody, his name is Phil Keoghan, I want you to take a look at his reel. And I said, okay. I popped it in, I looked at it, and he seemed to be really easygoing. He had this great, New Zealand accent, and obviously had traveled quite a bit. And he just seemed kind of like an adventure type of guy that seemed to fit what this show was going to be. And I remember I went into Bertram and I said, you really need to see this tape. I said, I think this is it, because nothing had, jumped out at us before. And so I gave it to Bert, and I think from that point on, you took it.
Yeah, it was like, initially I resisted a little bit because I needed somebody with more experience, and I was not sure in those days somebody with at that point a pretty heavy accent, would be listen to my accent, but would be acceptable to a network or something like that. So I was a little reluctant, so I resisted it a little bit. But then when I looked at the tape, I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. That guy's perfect. That's a guy. It doesn't matter if people have travel experience or not. It doesn't matter. But he is good. He's the guy. I think we should present him to the network, and that's how it came about. And the network looked at it, and they knew him probably from previous situations. So they liked him, and they had faith in our decision, and there is Phil.
Was it because of the eyebrow? Did he do the eyebrow thing?
He didn't have the eyebrow yet.
No,
came later.
It's just a recent
So
thing.
funny.
It's
So
going higher and higher, the eyebrow.
But I don't think we could have had a better choice. Phil fits the show perfectly.
Yeah, he's good.
And
he's perfect.
The wonderful thing about Phil is everybody likes him. He's a nice person on camera. He's a nice person off camera. And he's easygoing. He's low maintenance on the road. You have to be low maintenance on the show. Nobody is walking around with full makeup and hair being done.
No maintenance.
He does his own hair and makeup. There's no trailer. He is flying around with us in the plane. He gets off, we take him to the hotel, he gets dressed, and then he's, going to do his stand-ups. He just always has a positive attitude about everything.
Very positive attitude. Fun guy to be with. I spent years with him on airplanes now, so we've had our moments of jet lag conversations.
How does his role as host differ from the other reality show hosts?
Well, I think his role differs is he's, sometimes other hosts are at locations for judging events and things like that. Phil is really there to set up the location, set up what the challenge is, and then he is that face that the contestants look for to finish the leg. He is, the Mount Everest. He's the top, so they start the leg, they've got all these things to do, but when they know they get in front of Phil, the day is over and he will be telling them, their fate. So he is kind of the icon at the end of every episode that the viewer looks forward to, and I know the contestants look forward to reaching. He's where you want to be at the end of the episode. And however he delivers the news, good or bad, that there's going to be some reaction. And overall, I know that the contestants love to see him when they do see him, so it's kind of great. And now that the show has gained popularity around the world, when we travel, people recognize him, and it's always a very positive reaction. And then they know the Amazing Race is in town, or he has to come up with some story like, oh, I'm scouting or I'm traveling. But he's the look of the show.